Hi there, hi everybody. Hope you're all going well. It's a nice day here in Melbourne, actually, Saturday morning, and kind of felt like doing a video. Partly due to the fact, partly inspired by one of Moses' videos and one of Steve's videos, actually. So this is sort of going to be a response to both of those, in a way. I was watching them last night. First, I think I watched the Steve Kaufmann video where he's talking about being a linguist and being a polyglot and the difference, and how there's been some sort of confusion about this, and he's actually been criticized. And I also watched Moses McCormick's video where he defends Steve, and I tend to agree with him, and that they both tend to discuss the difference between linguistics and language learning or language acquisition, and how linguistics helps or doesn't help. And I just wanted to comment on this. If I haven't already, I'm not sure, but I think, definitely, to be clear, Steve was criticized because he calls himself a linguist, and because he speaks multiple languages. He should be calling himself a polyglot. But really, not many people know what a polyglot is. I didn't even know what a polyglot was before I started my language learning. Poly meaning many, and glot meaning language. It's a Greek word, Greek term meaning multilingual person. And linguist, by some people's definition, is someone who speaks a lot of languages, or someone who has studied linguistics but doesn't necessarily speak foreign languages per se. I agree with Steve that most people aren't even familiar with the term polyglot, and it's kind of a hard, obscure word that you don't hear too much. But everybody knows linguist, everybody knows multilingual, and all these words. So I think we can use linguist to refer to someone. I agree with this. We can use it to refer to someone who speaks more than one language, or who likes speaking multiple languages. So I don't think people should be criticizing him for calling himself a linguist, because that's exactly what he is. Okay, there may be some technical explanation or some technical ambiguity there. It should be polyglot, but who cares? Who cares? Not important. Also, he states, and I haven't checked this, that in the dictionary, linguist does mean someone who speaks multiple languages. So that's partly why he was criticized. Also, I think he was criticized because people were saying he hasn't studied linguistics, he's not a linguistics professor, and he shouldn't be giving advice. And I think that's ridiculous, because he has more experience with languages and with people and with other cultures than a linguist could ever have. Well, let's say a linguistics person could ever have. And not to say that linguistics isn't interesting or isn't helpful to some aspect. It's a science of language. It doesn't teach you how to learn a language. And I think linguistics can be an interesting topic, but we have to be careful. We have to separate the two here, because they're actually very different. And Steve says, and I agree, that linguistics is not helpful to language learners. And I agree. I mean, all these technical explanations, morphology, syntax, phonology, all these things are great. And some linguistics people do speak multiple languages. Like, for example, one of my favorite channels on YouTube, Glossica. He's a linguistics person. He knows about the science of the language and the sounds and the grammar and the structure, which is very good. And he also speaks foreign languages, and he's very good at them. So there are exceptions. But generally, linguistics does not, I find, does not help you learn another language. That's for sure. I've been very good at learning foreign languages. I've always been very interested in them, because I work very hard at them, not because I'm naturally talented. And I've taken some linguistic subjects at uni, and I've never found them to be a help. Maybe the very basic ones, but not the more complex ones. I did a general linguistics subject, which in first year I think, which does help point out things if you are learning foreign languages. It definitely makes you recognize things, which is interesting. And you find out about things that you don't even realize you're doing, which is good. But if you're not studying other languages, that stuff is, I just don't think it's useful. And if you are doing a more complex type of linguistics, like morphology or phonology or phonetics or one of those, I don't think that they help you learn another language. I've never used any of that stuff to help me learn a language. And most native speakers don't know anything about that stuff. And multilingual people who live in multiple countries or study multiple languages don't know anything about morphology and morphemes, all these ridiculous terms. Okay, to be fair, these terms are interesting, but they're not beneficial to language learning. You don't need them. They overcomplicate it. I think that's definitely the case. I took a subject, morphology, at uni, and to be honest, I failed the subject. Didn't do very well at it at all. I did try. I got turned off very easily because I went in there thinking it would help me with my language learning, but it just introduced a whole lot of terms that just confused me, and all these concepts which I just didn't need. It's quite obvious. If you're learning another foreign language, you'll understand the way the language works eventually. You don't need these terms to point it out for you. So you're looking at a vast amount of languages as examples, and you're studying the morphology of each and how they differ. And I still don't even quite know what morphology is. I know it's the structure of words and what's a word. What makes up a word in one language makes up a sentence in another, or something like that. That's fine. But these terms, morphemes, are different from morphs. I don't know. I'm not even 100% clear what a morph is after doing that course. I failed it partly due to my bad attitude, but also because I just didn't find it. I really didn't find it useful to language learning. I find language learning a much more enjoyable and practical experience than learning linguistics. Some aspects of linguistics are interesting. Maybe second language acquisition or first language acquisition. I'm very interested in these things. Or general kind of linguistics about, I don't know, dialects or socio-linguistics or whatever, or kinds of how people speak, why they speak the way they do. That stuff, you can relate to that. That's not too bad. But morphology, syntax, phonetics is a bit more involved. And just be aware that that they're different. And yeah, and that they don't necessarily help. In fact, it can make it more complicated to learn a foreign language. But if you're interested in linguistics, then of course you can go study it. So that's it. And I don't think people should be attacking Steve or Moses for giving advice because they're not linguistics professors or whatever. They haven't taken linguistics. I think that's just stupid. Okay, there's many people, multilinguals, who speak languages far better than linguistics professors do or ever will. So yeah, I just don't think that he deserved that criticism from whoever. So yeah, I just wanted to say that, and we should stop criticizing people for stupid reasons, and realize that language learning is not really that big of a deal, and we don't need to overcomplicate the process. It's already a challenge. Don't overcomplicate the process by adding in new terms, having to remember new things on top of the words in the language or the grammar in the language that you already have to learn. What a morph is, what a morpheme is. Horrible. Anyway, I apologize. I hope I haven't upset any linguistics people out there. That wasn't my intention. I just don't think that. I think the two fields are separate, and we should just stop criticizing people for really small, stupid reasons. Okay, so I hope you watch this, Steve or Moses, and yeah, that'll be it.